Not even 24 hours after our ABC 15 investigation, another escape from the state mental hospital. Sources say a patient broke their way out of a window and wound up on the streets. He was found minutes later in a nearby neighborhood. Last night at 10, we exposed how hospital security cuts could put the public in danger.
And right now, in part 2 of our exclusive investigation, Dave Biskobing reveals some escaped patients have never been caught.
The Arizona State Hospital, 230 patients are confined here, but that number should be even higher.
There have been patients that have escaped and not been found.
Yeah, there have actually.
Records show just since 2010, 4 escaped patients, some with criminal records, are still on the streets, still missing. They're listed as AWOL, absent without leave. Hospital CEO Corey Nelson says if they're found, they have to be returned. And not just for their own safety, but for the safety of the community.
The worst thing we can do is put somebody back out on the street that isn't prepared for that.
Case in point, Jesus Murrieta.
He escaped from a mental hospital. It was my worst nightmare come true.
Murrieta escaped in May 2011. 3 months later, he brutally beat and murdered April Mott. April's mother, Monica Vinquist, and her sister, Sharon, had to identify the body.
They wouldn't let us see her face or anything because of how badly it was.
Murrieta was sentenced to 22 years in prison. April's family says the hospital did not do enough. It was 11:25 p.m. when Murrieta escaped. 2.5 hours later, the hospital filed this missing persons report. They told police that he was suicidal and a danger to others. But then 9 hours later, they contacted police again, this time to cancel the missing persons report. They said Murrieta's status was changed to voluntary, meaning he was free to go.
I don't think that should have been taken so lightly.
What's so frustrating for April Mott's family, during the 3 months Murrieta was on the streets, he was stopped by police 6 times. If he'd still been listed as an escapee, he would have been taken into custody and returned to the hospital. Instead, each time Murrieta was cited for minor infractions and released.
He would have been brought back to safety, and my daughter may still be alive.
We asked Corey Nelson about Murrieta's escape. He said privacy laws prevent him from discussing it.
I can't talk specifically about any individual who's receiving treatment at the hospital.
But the ABC 15 investigators obtained internal hospital files. They show Murrieta's escape was a multiplicity of errors.
Were mistakes made and were they fixed?
There were changes made.
The biggest change, Nelson cut more than half of the security staff. He promised to replace those security jobs with staff who can provide direct patient care.
We're going to be so much better off.
But records show that hasn't happened. This hospital insider, who asked not to be identified, worries there may be more escapes and the public is still at risk.
Corey Nelson told us he believes that the changes have made the campus safer.
I don't believe so at all.
Is it worse?
I believe it's worse.
Today, in response to our stories, state officials posted a blog saying recent changes in security have made the hospital a better place for patients, the staff, and the public. But we spoke to more than a dozen insiders, and they say it's too early to tell if the changes will prevent escapes. I'm investigator Dave Biskobing, ABC 15 News.